Good morning, Monday morning of Thanksgiving Hoopfest week. I mean, I feel like I should call it Thanksgiving week, but it's Thanksgiving Hoopfest week, man. How was your weekend?
Oh man, it was good, dog. I went to Dallas, was at the circuit event.
Mm,
It was good, some good matchups. Saw some really high
yeah,
level girls matchups. I mean, I know I don't cover girls basketball, but like some good girls basketball games. But overall, good talent. I felt like this weekend, and like no offense to those events, like shout out to the circuit, shout out to Texas Invitational. All these games like to tune up to like you said, the hoop fest. Like
yeah.
everybody gets prepared for this week. Like you
That's what
want
it's
to be,
about this week, baby.
you want to be at your best. So there's some really good games, but I'm excited about this week. I think it's hoop fest week because like I mean, think about Piney Woods.
Yes,
uh,
yes,
they got really two days of really good matchups and players.
yeah.
And then you got the Hoop Fest Friday and Saturday. So I think it's Hoop Fest week.
I got so excited I didn't even do any kind of intro. I didn't say who I was. I didn't say who you
Right.
were. I'm just I'm just ready for some Thanksgiving food and some basketball. Charles Campbell on the court, off the court, live Mondays at 10 a.m. Ani Umana. Normally we have Brandon Jenkins with us, but he had to really go and do some man care, some skin care. He had a dermatologist appointment this morning, so I think he's getting ready to be on camera. But we'll chop it up with him later on this week. But
He was just
at
scared. He
10,
didn't want to argue with me again, Charles. That's what it was.
you did kind of bully him last time. It was kind of rough
Yeah, I
on
know. I know. I'm gonna bully him again next week. It's all good.
him. But 10:45, around 10:40, 10:45, we'll have Glenn Smith on, and he'll be talking to us about everything Thanksgiving Hoop Fest. So it's going to be a dope episode. We look forward to getting into it. But yeah, Ani, back to what you were saying. This weekend, you were at the circuit event up in Frisco. No, was that Frisco? No, it's excuse
Prosper.
me, Prosper,
Mhm.
Prosper, Texas. And you said you saw some good matchups. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, what was fun matchup was Putnam City North versus Dynamic
Okay.
Prep. Um,
Yeah.
I don't really know much about any of the players there, but they play so damn hard. Like they were
Yeah.
pressing Dynamic. It was a close game for the most part. Dynamic pulled away. Jaden Toombs really imposed his will in the paint. Was he made a 3 pointer? The shots looking better when he
Mm,
really just kind of goes out there and rebounds and plays hard. He just really he makes an impact on the game.
yeah.
Putnam City, they just play hard. They have a kid number 3. I felt like he was a scholarship level basketball player. I don't know what level. Maybe it's junior college, maybe it's Division 2. Maybe he can get a low major if he waits a little bit. But definitely a scholarship player. I definitely think schools around that area at the lower levels need to take a real serious look at him because he just
Yeah.
really made shots. But that Putnam City team, like, it's tough. When you look at him, you look at dynamic. Obviously, you look at there's a size difference, right?
Right.
But man, they just play so damn hard. They pressed the whole game, got after it, were physical, wasn't letting the post really gain a lot of position inside. Um, they were tough. So I thought that was like the one of the most fun matchups. I thought a fun matchup. My group we lost to Dallas Pace Academy, but that was a good game. They won
Yeah.
Pace
What do
Academy.
you think about the I'm sorry, I can't think of his name right now, but the kid for that Dallas Pace has. The wing, I
Aeneas
think.
Alexander,
Yes, absolutely. What do you think about him?
and very skilled for his size. Didn't really do a whole lot that game.
Yeah.
Um, they had two guards that really like made some plays down the stretch that were really talented. I don't know their names, but they had two guards that were like, yeah, they could really, really play. Um, but Aeneas, I've seen him play better. But I mean, he's good. Like I think he's a Division 1 player as a 226, especially. I just think
Yeah.
it's really more motor. I think if his motor just kind of got up and you know, and allowed him to get like easier like second chance opportunities
Yeah.
and then but he can shoot the three. He's a lefty. He can really use his body to carve space and finish with hook shots and baby fades. But yeah, that was a good game. Austin Center's really good. There's a available big man, Jalen Jackson, who I think is a Division 1 prospect. That's a low to mid,
Yeah.
probably a weight late guy that you know again, at these levels, you got 15 scholarships. If you use it on a 6'11" kid,
Right.
with a +4 wingspan, it doesn't kill you. And these same schools will call me about a high school big like in May or June. Charles, I mean, this stuff this stuff
Put
go
him out
because
there.
You know, like I mean, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's part of the game. But that was a good game. You know what? Cedar Hill and St. Mark's was a good game. St. Mark's
Was it
was
really?
up. Yeah, Cedar Hill won in OT. Uh, St. Mark's
Really?
kind of like my group. Yeah, St. Mark's kind of like my group had a lead at the fourth, blew it. But you know, I'm telling you, I mean, it's just real. That's what happened. Um, Dawson Battie was really good for St. Mark's. Luke
Yeah.
Laskowski going to St. Louis is good. Point guard play. That's what's really just hurt St. Mark's. To be honest with you, at Cedar Hill, they got a bunch of guards that don't stop. Like I think the toughest teams to play against are like these teams that may only have one or two guys plus that are 6'5" up,
Yeah.
but everybody else just runs every freaking where,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they don't stop, and that's what. And I give it to the coaches. Forgot my man's name. Cedar Hill, like they were down six with 40 seconds to go. They kept fighting. Chisholm, they kept fighting, and they won that game. That was a really good game. They get
I was
in
gonna
the
say Chisholm is definitely known for his personal intensity, and I think he tries to translate that to the kids big time.
Oh
But I'm
yeah,
not.
like how they just deny the ball,
Yeah.
how they just like stay, like they keep you in front, they make you work on everything, and that wears you out in the fourth quarter. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that was a good game. But yeah, I think the circle was good. Shout out to Derek Shelby. Shout out to Alec Kinsky, Alex Kromenos. They did a really good job just putting that event together. But you know, I know up in Houston, it's funny. I live in Houston now, and I drove to Dallas, but Houston, you know, the Texas Invitational. Um, that Brandon just keeps, you know, showing me that I was completely wrong in that other
Hey man,
podcast.
they are personally talking to you on that. They are
Yeah,
telling you that they are here and they are here to stay, and you were wrong.
I was absolutely wrong. Like to beat Allen and in OT, and I
Yeah.
heard they had a pretty decent lead. And Allen, as you know, they just
They've been clicking. They've been clicking.
yeah. And then like they didn't have two of their starters. Brennan did it.
Yeah.
Isaiah Ward didn't play, and the other one I forgot his name. He didn't play. They
Yeah.
didn't have two starters, and they won that game. I mean, that's tough. It, you know what I really messed up on when I look back, and it's dumb is when you have a 5-star player like Kingston Flemings,
Yeah.
he's always they're always gonna put you in any damn game.
Yeah,
You,
I mean at the high school level,
yeah,
it may not, it may not affect you as much at the college level. They can make some impact, but at the high school level, especially public high school level, having a 5-star kid, borderline McDonald's All American, he's gonna be able to do a whole lot.
Charles, he's not a board. Like to me, he's a McDonald's All American.
He's a
I don't
burger
give a
boy. I
damn.
mean, we're getting there early, but we gonna get to that because
Okay,
he
okay.
has a matchup. He has a matchup this week at the Hoop Fest against Bishop O'Connell and Joe Wooten. For the people that don't know, Joe Wooten is the chair of the McDonald's All American Committee. And I don't want to go too far too early, but he's playing directly in front of Joe Wooten. And several years ago, class of 2017, Chuck O'Bannon played against Bishop O'Connell, had a 30 plus point game, and ended up in the McDonald's All American game based on that game. So it's possible. And as we know, Glenn Smith in the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest is a burger boy maker. They make burger boys. You show up at the Hoop Fest because there's so many media members, there's so many college coaches, there's so many people that have stroke in the game that if you do what you need to do and you have the credentials, because I want to put that out there too, because I don't want any kid to think like, oh, I came in here with no offers, no nothing, nobody knows who I am, and I scored 40 points, and all of a sudden I'm played in Thanksgiving Hoop Fest, I'm gonna be a McDonald's All American. Probably not,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but a kid like Kingston Fleming, who may be on the, I mean, he may be on the border, maybe on the edge. He plays good in front of Joe. I could totally see it. But we jumped way ahead on that. I
Okay,
think.
my bad, my bad,
But
my
no, no,
bad.
no. It was a great thing. But it leads us into the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest. So 16 years, 85 plus McDonald's All Americans.
Hmm.
50 plus the NBA, WNBA draftees, and hundreds of D1 players. Do you have a favorite Thanksgiving Hoop Fest moment?
So when Trey Young, so
Don't bring that
when
up.
when yo, when he plays CJ Roberts again. This is like, bro, people do not need to take my team prediction seriously. This is why I don't gamble. I lose money.
Oh
Don't
my
like
gosh.
if you say, see, or hear me say, hey, I think the X team is gonna win, go against me. I'm gonna just be real with y'all. Like
You're a
nine
bad
times out
B.
of 10, I'm horrible with
Bad B.
like who's gonna win
Right.
because there's so many other stuff involved in that I don't know, and I'm gonna lose. Now I can tell you what level I think a player is or how good he is,
Yeah.
or I think it's gonna be a good game. Do not take anything serious when I say who's gonna win or lose a game. With that being said, when Trey Young came down, I remember they were playing Richland that CJ Roberts,
Yes.
and I felt
Mm-hmm.
man, CJ and them, they're not gonna let a team of Oklahoma come in and beat them. He ain't gonna let Trey beat them and do them like that at Duncanville. And that's when I realized Trey Young was a pro. Like he was an NBA player. Like he had 40 some points. He was shooting deep threes. They couldn't rip it from him.
He was he was
He was
bowing.
dynamic.
He was doing all of it.
Yeah,
Trey
like
Young
it
was
was one
he
of
was
those you
doing
just
all
don't.
of it.
Yes, he was doing all of it. You like he's an NBA player. Like he's an NBA player. And CJ had a good collegiate career.
Yeah, he did. I
But
mean, he had
it
a good
just
game that game. I think he still ended up with 30
with
plus.
yeah, like almost 30. Like he was
Yeah.
good. It just
But Trey
that
Young
was
went crazy. He went bananas.
he went nuts. Like I was like, oh, this is why people love watching Steph Curry. Because I was like, I didn't at that time, I never watched a Steph Curry game live. And I was
Yeah.
like, if this is how it feels to watch Steph play, then I get it. You know what I mean? I was like, I get it. Like this is must see TV.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was and it's crazy. My moment comes from the same year of the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest. But um that moment was crazy. And I got to
Yeah,
the gym late. I got there late. I was there towards the end. And I mean, everybody was buzzing. I mean, from the moment I got out the car through the parking lot, everybody was like, Trey Young, Trey Young, Trey Young. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, we've seen him. We know he's good. We know he was really good. We saw him against Trayvon Duval earlier in the season up in Wichita Falls. So we saw what he could do. He had a 30 ball there against Trayvon. And then he comes to Hoop Fest, and it's like he was out for blood,
yeah,
and that was one of the best performances. Craig, shout out Craig. Trey, he said Trey had 44 and was great. See, that's my dude, Craig. Shout out Craig Roberts. He said Trey had 44 and was great, and CJ had a solid 32. So 44 and 32. It
yeah.
was a great matchup. But you're right, CJ was an excellent Division 1 player. Went
Yeah.
on to Missouri first, and then made a couple stops after that. But Trey Young was in it just, I mean, we see it now in the NBA, but seeing it on the high school level, like you said, was absolutely crazy. It was
Right.
unreal. But the nightcap, well, it wasn't the nightcap, but the game after that, Andrew Jones versus De'Aaron Fox.
That was nuts.
That was a war. And they were evenly matched. I think it was 28 points to 27, something like that. Please don't quote me. Don't
Mhm.
don't call me out on that. It was the points were even, but they were going at each other. They were absolutely going at each other. And De'Aaron capped it off with a steal and a big time dunk on a fast break. But that was probably the best guard matchup that I've seen in years at the high school level. And I believe 100% that was the game that made Andrew Jones a McDonald's All American for sure.
100%. That was a fun game. I forgot about that game. Like that was
Uh,
electric, back and forth. Like you said, both
it,
teams was fairly even.
yeah,
But De'Aaron was just De'Aaron is probably my favorite Texas high school player I watched.
he
Like
was
ever. Like
unreal from the
he's
time
my favorite. He was always my favorite to watch.
he was unreal from the time he showed up. And I didn't know how his speed would translate. I mean, he's fast, 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 right?
Mhm.
And but I didn't think he would automatically go to the fastest player in the NBA, like, that John Wall type stuff. But in high school, he was such a blur. Oh my gosh, he was such a blur. He was so fast and athletic, and he'd finish and man, and that's what we were saying. 5-star kids at that level, he played public high school basketball. 5-star kids at that level do so much for their team. That team has not been the same before or after De'Aaron Fox. my Houston guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but De'Aaron Fox did so much for his team, for his community, and he's got a nice shoe out right now.
Yeah, he does.
Those Fox ones might be. You might see me with my feet on the wood and some Fox ones. I'm sure.
No, no, don't choose fire. I I was young. I was kind of starting to get in it, like
You
in
were,
the
yeah.
game, and I would just remember the two kids around that time that really just excited me. I was like, if De'Aaron Fox is playing, and if JJ Caldwell was playing, I was
JJ.
like, yo, I'm sitting my ass down. I'm watching from the beginning to the end.
Yeah,
Andrew
yeah.
Jones was fantastic that game. That game did lead to him being McDonald's All American. And honestly,
Yep.
he was an NBA player before he
He
got sick
was
last.
absolute 100%. He's in the league right now. There's no
Yeah,
question about that.
yeah, like probably getting ready for a second contract. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
it was
absolutely.
it was one of those. There's a lot of like when you kind of said that, it brought me back to like Samuel Williamson versus Jalen Green. Remember like Rockwall versus it was prolific, wasn't it? Where he was at Jalen was like how electric that game was. I thought that game kind of put Samuel Williamson over the top and made him McDonald's All American. Remember Javante Smart and RJ Hampton. Remember when they both you know
Listen, how much did that's why we need Glenn. We're going to ask Glenn all of this stuff when he gets on later on. But Javante Smart had something crazy like 50, if not 60
I think at
points.
60 and
I think he
RJ
had
had
60.
40.
And I hate that I don't have the stats. I got to be honest, I'm not really a stats guy, but I hate I
Yeah.
don't have it up, but he had like 60 points. Like legitimately and then young RJ Hampton had 40. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
it
nuts.
was a back and forth crazy matchup. It was unreal. It was unreal. But that's just Glenn Smith. That goes to the greatness of Glenn Smith being able to put everybody together and get these matchups. Because a lot of at that, especially at that time, a lot of kids were ducking smoke. A lot of coaches were ducking smoke, and a lot of daddies, a lot of these daddy ball daddies were ducking smoke. They didn't want their
100.
kid to play up against a kid like that. That's why I have to give a shout out to Craig Roberts because he went up against a Trey Young. He was ready
Yeah.
for it. He was ready for it. He's ready for it, and but
And he didn't make
this
any excuses. One thing I liked about it, yeah, Trey outplayed CJ, but they gave him his flowers. Like,
sure did.
it was just like it just was what it was. And but CJ had a hell of a game. One thing I do appreciate with people is like, okay, when you have the matchup and if you get outplayed or you outplay somebody, that's just what it is. And then you respect both players and then
Yeah,
you keep it moving. Like you said at that time, that really wasn't going on. I give a shout
yeah.
out to Craig because he just kept it real about it.
Kept
But
it
it
real.
wasn't. But we didn't up trade it down CJ. It was just Trey was just that good, but CJ was also really good. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But I did respect that a lot because at
It
that
was.
time, like you said, Charles, that was that was not going on.
That was crazy to see, man. You just had to be there. You had to be there. Shout out Doug Jones. He gave us a shout out. Shout out Doug Jones in Houston with RCS Sports and Doug's Dozen. They got a show on Sunday nights. It was dope. Watched it last night. It was really good.
Mhm.
If you're into basketball and you like Houston, great Houston coverage. But man, so Glenn's done it again. He's done it again this
Mhm.
year. He's got 33 ESPN ranked players. Let's look at this list for a second that we're talking about as far as just ranked players. We're not going over matchups yet, but
Okay.
class of 2025, number 7, number 1 center in the country, Chris Sanat.
Yeah. Man, he was really good at USA basketball. Him and Darius Acuff in October in Colorado Springs were the best
Yeah.
players in the USA basketball. 6'10", versatile, inside out scoring. He's
Hmm.
gotten tougher. He's really rebounding and playing through contact.
Yeah.
Chris, I think was it last year when I saw him when he was with the school out in Louisiana. I saw him. I was like, man, this kid got a chance to be pretty damn good. I
Yeah.
put him. It's funny. I put him on like could potentially be like a top 30, 20 kid. Let's see how he develops.
Yeah.
And then I remember interviewing him after the game, really good kid. And to now see where he's developed, he's improved so much from this time last year.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm really like excited to see where his future holds. Because last year he was really good. He was good. I think I forgot who they played and they barely lost. I think was it Brendan? Maybe they played Brennan. I forgot, but he was really good. And
I was out of it. I was on the sideline, so I'm
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm back. I'm coming back.
he had a really good game. He was very intriguing to now being where he is now and gotten stronger and really, putting a more effort on the glass and
Yeah.
finishing, also showing the perimeter game and the handle. Christian Jackson, number one's big in that class. I mean, obviously Cam Boozer, who I think more for like, and Chris more like 5'4", but
Yeah.
he's up there.
Chris is
They're up
still uncommitted. He's still uncommitted.
there.
Where are we thinking he's going? You got
Uh,
Kentucky. You got Kentucky in play. You got the hometown LSU in play. You got Arkansas in play.
I'm
I'm.
here in Houston. I'm here in Houston's
You
in the
got
league.
Houston in. Okay. You got Houston. Ooh.
Here in Houston is in the lead. I heard Tennessee, Arkansas, LSU.
Yeah.
It's a dog fight.
It
It's a
is
it's
all
a dog.
SEC though. We're definitely on the same wavelength. All SEC. Personally, he's a Louisiana kid. I think LSU. The love, the love that he's gonna get from LSU, the love he's gonna get in Baton Rouge, and then you can come across town and see Southern, baby. We gonna show you some love too. You know what I'm saying? You can come over and hang out with the Southern boys. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
and LSU
I,
is doing having a good season so far.
yeah,
They traditionally, I mean, they do a good job with their frontline guys.
yeah,
Um, I don't think he could really make a. I mean, obviously, money's going to come to play, and it should be for a kid of that caliber,
back the
right?
dump truck up, back it up for him, back that Brinks truck up for him.
Yeah, 100%. So I just think for him, it just where does he feel like could fit him if it's a one and done situation where I think it really should, honestly, where he feels like he's going to develop the most and win and be able to
Yeah,
get drafted potentially in the lottery.
yeah, yeah. Number 11, Braden Burries from Roosevelt, California.
Hmm
21. We got number 21, Kingston Flemings, and that's why I say he's on the fence. 21. I don't know how many guards are ahead of him in that matchup, but that 1 through 20, 1 through 30, 1 through 10 is almost a lock for the McDonald's a game. Um, and then 1 through 20, 30, you kind of get some of that other stuff. You got Davion Hannah, number 22. You brought Shelton Henderson, just committed to Duke. You got him
hmm
coming up. Jerry Easter, number 31. Jameer Jones, 32. Alexander Lloyd, 34. Jaden Toombs, 38. And what's crazy is that Sanak and Toombs were teammates at USA Basketball this past summer, and they have a primetime matchup Friday afternoon.
They do. They do. That's gonna be a really fun one. That
Yeah,
dynamic in league will be fun.
yeah,
Dynamic. It's going to be big for them, just how they handle the ball, handle pressure, as we saw like against Montverde, against Allen. I think just even in Putnam City North, they kind of struggle with it. If they can just really just take care of the basketball, I think they can really compete because the talent is there. Toombs versus Sinak is fun. Toombs doesn't have like the physical, like the athletic gifts
yeah,
some of these other bigs, but he's so skilled and he's so smart. Like he just knows how to create enough space to score. He knows how to pass. He's someone that's really good in DHO situations.
yeah,
Um, I think he like gets a lot done. So it's gonna be good against the next someone that's just as strong, if not stronger, has more vertical pop, just how he just continues to get his shot. But I think it's a good game for like Jermaine O'Neal Jr., like Jacoby Coleman, who I think has been playing really well. That's the Sam Houston State signing. I think he's
yeah.
really kind of turned the
I
corner
like
with it.
him a lot. I like Jacoby Coleman a lot.
Mm.
And I don't know, and I'm not knocking Sam Houston State, but I had him a lot higher than Sam Houston State. But I think he's going to make an immediate impact there. I think he
Yeah.
immediately makes an impact. He's got athleticism. He can handle it. He can shoot it. He can ISO. Like he's a really, really good guard. And I feel like he's got some of that alpha dog in him too. I feel like
Well,
he really can bring that leadership and that hey, give me the ball, let me rock type stuff to that team. I'm looking forward to that matchup though.
yeah, I think with Jacoby, I think it was kind of questions of how well of a jump shooter he was. I don't.
Yeah,
I know in July he played well. I don't think he played well enough to kind of get to the Power Five situation. I think he's at the right situation where he can immediately play. Even talking to that staff, they're excited about him
hmm,
and they feel like he's someone that can get minutes early. Um,
yeah,
and like you said, like the alpha, people don't remember. Like in Frisco Liberty, he was putting them on his back and like
he was a
having
dude.
big time performances. I think they
Yeah,
beat Lancaster one year, or they got in a really close game, and they were. And I mean, Lancaster's always loaded, but like he did things that like when he was at Frisco Liberty, that made me like, okay, like he can be the guy, like when he
Yeah.
wants to. So I think he's starting to, because he's playing with all these other guys, he's realizing I can still be aggressive. I can still look to get mine. I can still get to the paint and make plays and link with Davion Hanna. He's like all. I mean, Davion Hanna and Sinak and John Clark is there, and Trent Perry. Like they're so loaded. Like it's going to be a good game. I hope it's a really good game.
It should be. It
Yeah.
should be. It should be. Yeah, we're gonna be right there though. We're gonna be right there locked in. You just mentioned John Clark, number 40. 43, Sam Funches. 55, Isaiah Sealy. 50, Jalen Reese. 51, Darius Bivens. 57, Gavin Placide.
You
Sorry, I
see
didn't mean
that?
to
Yeah.
butcher. 61, Cornelius Ingram Jr. Hold on, is that Corn from Cornelius? His father. Hold on, I played against his dad out of Florida. Went on to play tight end at the University of Florida. He was a pretty good
Yeah, that's
backup.
his
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. Whoa, I'm old. Oof, oof. I'm old. I'm old. Okay, yeah. I played against his dad during my time down in Florida. Yeah, he went on to Florida and played tight end for them. King Grace. I talked to Faith Family at the Champions Classic, and they told me first game of the season for King Grace will be at the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest.
Thank God.
Yes, we
I'm ready.
got it.
I'm ready to see him.
We got it. We got it.
I'll say this for me, and it doesn't really matter in the whole
Yeah,
game. I just want to see King Grace have a really, really strong school season.
yeah,
I want to see hell of a summer. I think he's always had good summers. I want to see him put it together in the school season. And being with BT and Faith Family, I think we're going to see that. But that's
yeah.
something I want to see. I just feel like it's always been there's been a disconnect between the spring and the fall. So,
Yeah.
happy to see him back. I'm happy he took his time and got healthy and he's ready to play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the most important part. That's the most important part is playing healthy. I mean, he's already signed. Um, so let's go. We about to see it. Excuse me, 87, Legend Smiley. 88, like you mentioned, Jermaine O'Neal Jr. And then at 89, Mr. 40 Ball himself, Caden Edwards. And that's just the class of 2025. I mean, we're loaded in 2025.
Right.
Uh, 26, we have number 15, Jay Sean Andrews at Little Rock Christian. 17, Alex Constanza. 23, Jalen Montanati. That's one of your guys. What do you want to see
Mm-hmm.
from him at the Hoop Fest?
Just I really I want him to be more assertive with it. I thought at the scrimmage he was good. Like when I thought he really looked to like put pressure on the defense, not necessarily like paint touch, but his attempts, his volume, like really looking to shoot, at least get into his pull up, make defense have to pay attention to him more than it leads to the kickouts being there. I just
Yeah.
wanted to be more aggressive. I thought the second game versus Faith Family, where they won that scrimmage, pretty good. I thought he was just more assertive with the basketball, and I know he can score, but I think sometimes he tries to be like too good of a teammate, if that makes any sense. Like
Yeah, it does. It does.
it's just like, okay, like man, like they ain't really making shots right now. He has a good team. Like Jax Kerr is really good going to St. Louis. Like he's a good player. Like he's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
And they have some pieces, but when you're the guy and you see your team, like and like you're in this setting, you need to impose your will early. Like they
Yeah.
gotta follow your lead on it, and that's what I want to see with Jalen. Like this is a time. It's not from the jump to kind of get a feel. Some guys are like that's cool. It's like, hey, from the jump, hey, I'm pulling this. Like I'm making this. Like I'm getting us going. I think it just being that spark early.
Yeah. Yeah. 27, Chidi in Wigway. Sorry if I butchered it.
Yeah, I
Sunrise.
like you.
32, Davion Atkins. We just saw Dakari, number 33. Austin Gooseby, we just saw him, 34. 60, Bo Ogden. Ogden. Is it Ogden?
Bo Ogden,
Ogden.
yeah.
Bo Ogden. Then 2027, we have ESPN has him number 7, but on 3 has him number 1, Ryan Hampton.
Yeah.
Number 10, TJ Jamison. 18, Malachi Jordan. 20, Marcus Spears Jr. And 24, Big Slim, Dawson Petit. This is star study, man. This is I don't know. There's no other. I don't think there's another tournament in the country, especially around this time, that has this much heat in it. This much
Right.
heat, and then having the ability to put the matchups together. It's crazy. And then we're talking, I mean, we're about to go through those matchups. So we have a lot of kids that aren't nationally ranked, but within the state of Texas, within Dallas, within these areas, they are the best, better, and best players in those areas. So, Thursday and Friday is going to be crazy. Duncanville High School, Sandra Meadows Arena. If you don't have your tickets, get your tickets. If you love high school basketball, Thanksgiving Hoopfest is the premier high school basketball tournament in the country. No question. No question. We're not talking about prep schools and none, we're talking about high schools, public schools. This is it. But he still gets all of those other schools as well, though. So, but Friday, and we're starting off early. Glenn, I can't wait to get you on because I have to ask you, why are we starting at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Man, look, he gave me a 9 a.m. game a couple years ago, and I got so mad. And we won that game by damn near 50.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's why sometimes I need to shut up. Because then I said, man, give me a primetime game. We played
Yeah.
Lincoln, lost by like damn near 30. So that
Oh,
was
wow.
just like, hey, like, just
Stay in
appreciate
your
what you.
place.
Hey, yo. Ever since then, shit, I don't care if you put me on the third quarter at 10 a.m. Yo, just give me a competitive game. And
Right.
I love that we played Link. It was fun. It was good for my guys. Like
Yeah.
I thought it was good exposure. But I did a little bit. I did a little too much talking, and I got what I asked for.
Yeah. So 8 a.m. we kick it off with Frisco Lone Star and Arlington Martin. I saw Martin at Crowley's the Champions Classic, the preseason scrimmage, and they're good,
Mhm.
but they're a young team. They're a good young team, young guards. I know a lot of those guys went to middle school with Deuce at Duncanville and went to school with Beckham middle school. So you know they're right there. They're right there. Young squad. You have anything on either of those teams?
Lone Star, young talent as well. Some
Yeah,
27s, I think some 28s that can actually play.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
they're young. That's a fun like early matchup because you got
yeah,
two teams with young prospects. Like, and you see, well, okay, which ones are going to develop into Division One guys, and or where it goes. But it's an interesting matchup. I wouldn't like I would like saying like I wouldn't tell people to fall asleep on that. I think that's a game where
yeah.
you'll be thinking, oh, who's this kid? There's gonna be some 227 that drops 25 that game that we don't really know much about. So I definitely think that's one to watch.
Yeah, 9:30. We have a nice one though. Calvary Baptist, Louisiana versus Rowlett. Calvary Baptist brings in T.J. Jameson,
Hmm.
but this is a chance for Kadarian Ureen at Rowlett. It's a chance. It's a chance. We saw him at Pangos. I saw him early in the season. It's a chance for him to kind of be on that stage, get that matchup, and really show us coaches, what he can do.
Yeah, I agree. And both teams are fairly similar. Like it's a balanced game.
Yeah,
Obviously, Calvary's won more in their district and in their conference than Rowlett. And I know Booker, Gerald Booker, just got the job. Who I'm very excited that he got that. Kadarian, someone that can really get downhill. He's strong. He's tough.
yeah,
He's athletic. Um, Showing if when guys go under screens, can he make them pay? I think that's going to be a big thing.
yeah,
TJ is like an offensive just juggernaut as far as just the scoring. Like he's immediate offense. Who's actually like I know people talk about the scoring. I think like he will make the right play. Like if there's guys double teaming him or the defense is really gravitating a lot to him, he does find the open man. But what he does, he can really score that basketball and get to his spots. I think it's a fun matchup. I hope they guard each other
I
early.
would hope so too. I would hope
And
so
I
too.
think, but
And
and Coach Vic at Calvary and Book, they're kind of like they're dogs. So I think we're gonna really see a hell of a match. We're gonna see what they're about.
I played pickup against Book. I used to have it's a few years ago. I had a coach's run, open run, and we just get in there and have a good time. And I was matched up against Book, and yeah, he's a dog. Like he has that mentality where he wants you one on one. So I can only imagine what he would tell his players and what he would allow them to do, especially in this setting, because I know he knows what's on the line. Obviously winning a game is important, but showcasing yourself in front of there's going to be so many people that can uh, make your career
Right.
that can take your high school basketball career further than I mean they can take it very far. McDonald's voters, scouts from all over the country. I mean, you play good here, and you're definitely going to be in those spaces. Excuse me. So then next up at 11, we have Little Rock Christian versus the Colony.
Yeah, that's fun. That's gonna be fun. Both teams, I think, with Little Rock, JJ Andrews, a really strong build like wing that can get to his spots, like
Yeah.
using his body and physicality and score mid range score. I like JJ because he's tough, he's athletic, he has a real dog to him. He really tries to make winning basketball plays. And then the Colony, the Kari Spear. They didn't have a great weekend at the Texas Invitational. I'm pretty sure they would want better. They wanted to play better, so I think they used this opportunity to have a really strong showing. Dakari, who we talked about how well he just really scores the basketball, really uses his length and his size to really elevate. I like how he rebounds. He's another kid that does what he has to do to win basketball games. And then Bryce Dixon, who's someone that's been a really good he plays off of Dakari well.
Yeah,
He
I
plays
think
off
so
of
too.
Dakari well, and he's growing in his skill set. Kind of wish for him. There's moments with Bryce that I wish he just kind of calmed down and didn't force the issue as much.
Yeah.
But I do feel like that's kind of what makes him a good player is that he just is going to keep coming at you. But I want to see a better showing from the Colony this weekend, and I know
Yeah.
they do too. I know Coach Cleve. I know he wants to see him play better.
Yeah. And then after that, we have St. Michael's in Germantown, Mississippi.
Yeah, St. Michael's. I don't know too much about Germantown.
Yeah, me neither.
Traditionally, they're always pretty good. St. Michael's, fun team to watch. Dessou, really coming along. Signing from Holy Cross, just
Yeah.
like a big wing, kind of do it all type of guy. I think he's someone that will have a really good college career early, and we'll see his name in different stuff. Bo Ogden, obviously, top 60 level player in the country, really shoots it, competes, tough. More than just a shooter, someone that can attack, close out, someone that rebounds, someone that really competes on the defensive end. Um,
Yeah.
I know I always talk about guys that impact winning. Like that's those guys that are in that top 30, 60, those dudes do that. He's not just a shooter. And I kind of want people to not just label him, oh, he's just a spot up guy. No, he does more to really impact winning than that.
Well, it looks like we have our man of the hours here. Glenn just got into the studio. Uh, there he is. Glenn Smith.
What's
What's
good,
up,
Glenn?
Glenn?
What's the word?
Man, we were just getting into the matchups. First off, Glenn Smith, founder and CEO of the Thanksgiving Hoopfest. Um, we were singing your praises, and we do give you your roses because you have the best high school basketball tournament in the country, especially around this time. But we were just talking about, before we kind of divert a little bit, we were just talking about that matchup of St. Michael's and Germantown High School in Mississippi. I know you've seen Germantown High School, Mississippi. Speak to us a little bit more about, what they bring.
They probably have one of my. I guess I'm. Well, not guess. I know I'm biased, just because they have Mo Williams' son, Mike Williams, who's really really good. I think he was really underrated or is underrated, and probably was under recruited just because it was kind of understood that he was probably going to end up going to play for his pops. They have a big kid in Sam Funches, who I'm interested to see. The jury's still out on how good he is or can be, at least for me, so I'm excited to see how those two play together. They've been playing, from what I hear, they've been playing some really exciting basketball, early in the season. So I think that's one of those teams that I like to bring in that maybe not too many people know about, but they know, I feel like people know that I have enough credibility to where if I'm bringing somebody that they don't know, that they got to have something.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
I mean, that's why
And
we asked you.
I heard guys that Bo Ogden is maybe out for the season, so he may
Possibly, yeah.
Really interesting. Interesting. But Mikey Williams, I mean, spent some time here in Dallas, was really good here in Dallas, and I just, scrolling on Instagram the other day, saw he bodied somebody on a fast break. So looks like that athleticism is coming right on along, and he's right on time to where he needs to be.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I think that I think he probably has a chip on his shoulder. Probably felt like he was, underappreciated while he was here in Dallas, a little bit, and so that kind of it's probably kind of fueling him. And I think that this will be his first time, that I can think of
Yeah.
playing since he left. Because I don't think that since he left that the EYBL came back to Dallas since.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
may actually be his first time, playing back in Dallas.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
that might be another one of those performances. We were talking about our favorite Hoop Fest moments earlier, and we brought up the Trey Young, CJ Roberts matchup, and we brought up the De'Aaron Fox, Andrew Jones matchup. But, Mikey Williams has the ability to score the basketball, and that could turn into a game that could go, and like you said, he's feeling undervalued, underrated. He's Mo Williams' kid. Mo was a bucket. He's a bucket. It could get out of hand here. It could.
It can go either way. I think, my job is to give people the stage and it's on them to dance,
Yeah.
and so we'll see what he does with it. I'm excited to see I'm excited to see what a couple guys do under these lights and in these environments.
Yeah.
And like you said, Sam Funches is really like I didn't know he was there. That's a very interesting one. Like he's one, it's still jury out like what level he is, what tier is he in that class nationally. So yeah, this is actually a good like opportunity to see where he's at right now.
Next up, we got Faith Family and Sagemont Prep.
That one is going to be interesting because nobody knows a lot about Sagemont.
Yeah.
But Sagemont could potentially be one of the most exciting teams in the entire event.
Really?
Yeah. They're going to get up and down the floor. They're going to shoot it. They're big. They're athletic. They're going to, my boy BT may get mad at me, about this one because they I knew they were good, but I didn't know how good, but they've been bringing some stuff along.
Then they have the kid Matthew Abel, right?
Say again?
They have the kid Matthew Abel.
Yep.
Yeah,
They've got him.
Who had a huge summer, getting better and better. Like he's a fun kid to watch play. Like Charles, you're gonna like watching him play.
Yeah,
real deal. Yeah,
and they're gonna put it up.
Like
they've been averaging right at about 90 points. Some people from Florida told me, and they've hit 100 at least once. A couple people from Florida have told me.
They're averaging 90 points. They're averaging 90 points.
That's what my people from Florida telling me. Now the coach has been real cool about it. He's been real like, hey, we're okay. We're solid.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, you wouldn't come out this way if you were just solid.
Right.
Man, that's gonna. It looks like my return is right at the right time because, that sounds very exciting. Sagemont. Then you have Faith Family. I mean, Faith Family. They've been playing okay lately. I wouldn't say they've been playing great, but they have some players. They have the talent to make it a really good game. Yeah, that definitely needs to be circled for sure.
Yeah.
Faith Family gonna bring it. They definitely. I think what happens is that a lot of teams that come to this event from out of state, how they say everybody's a dog until a dog comes.
Yeah.
So a lot of those teams be good and bully people in their respective states, but then when they come here, they end up getting bullied.
I remember a few years ago. I'm sorry to cut you off. It just triggered my mind though. You had Mansfield Timberview versus the team out of Birmingham, Alabama. When Isaac Likely was at Timberview, and they came in, they were big, they were huge, and Timberview ran them out of the gym. I mean, just blew them out of the gym. It's exactly what you're talking about. You're in other states, you're bullying, but then Dallas basketball is excellent. Dallas basketball is absolutely excellent.
Remember Richardson versus AZ Compass? Remember that game?
Yeah. They were number one in the country at that time.
And I can't get Compass to come back because of that. No, I'm outside.
I was about to say, man.
I'm being missed. But they haven't came back though. But they did think it was sweet when they came. Because if you remember the night before, they almost lost to McKinney with Jacoby Walter.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning by like less than 3 points, I know. And then the next night is when Ryland and Kaysen got a hold to him.
And Kaysen just went crazy. They went, but then I was literally watching that game at home and I was like, this is crazy what they're doing to these kids right now.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of that, is there a way that people that are not here that they can watch the game?
Buy a ticket and get there. We'll worry about the streaming stuff later.
We
Worth the
not.
streaming stuff later.
We get your tickets. Get your tickets. Get your tickets.
That's a hell of an answer.
So,
No, man.
that is a hell of an answer for real. That really is. But look, but you set us up, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. So you set us up after that game with Dynamic Prep versus Link. We got Toombs versus Sanok at 3:30. You know.
Yeah, I think that this is a good opportunity for. I think both teams benefit from this particular matchup. I think that and both players do as well. I think we can see if Toombs is what we think he is, or can be. And I think this is a stage for him to kind of show that. And I also think from a team perspective, this is a good opportunity for Dynamic to, if they want to be, in those kind of conversations with those type of teams, this is a good opportunity for them to play against them, essentially, as a home game. It's right in their backyard, and I think this is a good opportunity for Link to kind of say, hey, we still Link, and so it's a benefit for both programs. So I think it could be a really, really good game. I hope it's a good game because I kind of set it up to kind of set matchups in a flow, and I think that's the perfect time slot for that one. I think it should be popping.
Yeah. And the gym's gonna be packed by that time for sure. It's definitely gonna be packed because at 5:00, and I'm gonna have to start calling you the McDonald's All-American maker because that's who you've been these past few years. But at 5:00 we have Brennan versus Bishop O'Connell, and Joe is the chairman of the McDonald's committee, and Kingston is on a run right now, and he has an opportunity to really kind of solidify that.
Yeah, so I feel like I've just kind of made it my job. Nobody asked me to. I just kind of made it my job to give individuals who are kind of like on that cusp of making the game, giving them the opportunity to perform in front of the right people that can kind of push them in. Like you guys mentioned earlier with the Andrew Jones. He was kind of like on that borderline to making the game, and then he had a very, very good game against De'Aaron Fox. His team ended up losing, but he had one of those games where, when you have, 8 to 12 McDonald American voters, they are watching, it kind of helps your case. And I think for Kingston, I tried to make a conscious effort to, give him that game as well as his game the next day. Kingston got his hands full that weekend. He has Bishop O'Connell the first day, and then the next day he has Brandon Burries in Roosevelt. And then, those are two tough games for him, but it also puts him on a stage to where, hey, if he gets his rocks off, now he's kind of in that, moving up in that tier.
Yeah. Anna, you got anything on that?
He's a McDonald's All-American.
I just wanted you to say it. I just wanted you to say it because you said it earlier. To me, he's a McDonald's All-American. If he gets voted in or not, to be like, I've seen enough. But what I do like is that matchup versus Roosevelt with Braden Burries, like you said, and him. Braden Burries, who's labeled like a top 10-ish player in the country, and it's two guards, so they're going to get after. That's a fun game. And that Bishop O'Connell, they're always a very good team. Like you talked about, Darius Bivens, Charles, who's someone that can really get to spots, that he's a really strong playmaker. So that Brennan team's on a roll. They're going to play against two really tough teams back-to-back days. And it's going to be a good test for Kingston. I think it's just going to be a next-level test for Kingston. He's shown that he can do it against, the top teams locally, right, in the state. So now going against more in the national scope, in a national stage, what does he do? I think he kills. I think we all me personally, I just know he's going to do his thing. I ain't gonna bet against him no more. I ain't betting against Brendan. I ain't betting against Kingston Flemings no more. I'm done. Glenn, he went on Ball His Life podcast with Ronnie earlier this year and didn't rank Brendan nationally in their top. What was it, top 20?
No, I think we had him 30, and I thought they were going to go down.
You had him 30, and he thought they were going to lose and go down. And so after what was the game that it was at? It was Dynamic. It was against Dynamic at Noble, and Brennan bust Dynamic, and what happened?
Because he went up to me, I said, he said, I forgot what he said, but he basically let me know that I was absolutely wrong. So shit, Listen, after that, then what they did to Allen, I'm telling you, I ain't going against Brandon. I'm not going against Keith Fleming no more. They got it. Like anything they're gonna play against, I'm going for
Let's do it.
So, so Glenn, so what you also do that a lot of tournaments don't do is you bring the girls in and you bring those
them.
top girls in. And at 6:30, Lubbock, Monterey versus Conway, Arkansas. Number one girl in the country, Aaliyah Chavez, going to Miami versus Conway, Arkansas. I mean, fireworks at 6:30.
Yeah, so actually, she's actually uncommitted right now.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, she's uncommitted. I don't want to put that out there because I know who's in the
Yeah.
hunt, and I don't want nobody
Yeah.
thinking,
Got you. Got you. Got you. That was my error. That
espe-
was my error.
especially for that one. Um, Aaliyah has two really good games on both nights. They'll play against Conway on the first night. Conway's traditionally one of the better teams in the country, based in Arkansas. I also think that her game on Saturday night is the one. That's the one where you'll probably see um, every brand, every sneaker brand, every agent, anybody you can think of be at their 6:30 game on Saturday.
Yeah.
The reason being is because they're playing against Ontario Christian as well, and Ontario Christian has, Special K. That's what everybody calls her. She's the number
Yeah.
one girl in 27. They have a really good team. They also have Sydney Bean, who's probably the top 28 in the country, who's like 6'6". Her father played O-line for the Rams and Raiders. Her mom was a WNBA player, so that'll be, it'll be fireworks both nights, but Aaliyah is a special talent and she's so likable with the way that she plays, that it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun. She'll play to the crowd, she wants to win. She has I don't know, I think it's okay to talk about girls like this, but she's a dog.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she gets to it. She if she sees blood, she's going after you. So I'm excited about that. And low key, the girls matchups is better than the boys all weekend.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, yeah, you've done an amazing job there.
Because you got IMG girls playing against Faith Family and Legion Prep over the weekend. You got probably the best game I've ever had in the Hoop Fest was last year's Etowanda versus Duncanville girls, and then Etowanda coach said, "Hey, we got to run this back." So they coming back. And then you've got who else? A team from Georgia, Southwest DeKalb. They're really, really good. You got South Grand Prairie playing against a couple good teams. The team from Houston that has the young lady that committed to South Carolina recently, Cy Springs. You got Argyle, who is always really, really good. So I'm excited about all of them. Even what's my man name out of Maryland who's bringing his boys and the girls? Oh, Riverdale Baptist. They got a really solid girls team. Yeah, they got a really solid girls team. They're playing against Kincaid, and I can't remember who their other game is against, but they got two real tough ones.
Yeah, they have Kincaid and then they have Waco La Vega.
Oh yeah, so they got their hands full too.
Yeah. Yeah. I was at Riverdale Baptist my freshman sophomore year, so that tradition. You know what? I'm very excited to see them. I have to be a fan for a minute, step out the media box for a second to be a fan because that's the old high school. But traditionally, those girls have been the best in the country. They have one of the better girls programs in the country. What made you
Nice.
decide to bring in the girls at the level that you brought them into the Hoop Fest?
So a couple of things happened at once. The first thing that happened was a team backed out on Coach Self Morgan, who was the girls' coach at Duncanville, and she needed a replacement. And I found her a replacement. And moving forward, she played in it. And if anybody wanted to play her, they essentially had to come to the Hoop Fest. And this is when like she really had it rolling.
Yeah.
And then after that, other good girl teams wanted to be involved, and then it just kind of evolved. And then before you knew it, just kind of took legs.
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing us the best of both worlds in boys and girls high school basketball. Speaking of which, we close it out with Duncanville versus Ontario Christian girls, and then Duncanville boys versus Bella Vista Prep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Bella Vista, CIA Bella Vista, that's their EYBL Scholastic program. They have some really
Oh,
good young guys. Yeah, so that'll be their EYBL Scholastic team. So they'll have. I can't think of the guy's name right off, but they have a guard that's really highly ranked in the 27 class, and they have a big that's maybe in the 26 class.
Yeah,
Both
that's
of them are from Canada.
yeah, the big Dion was his name. Yeah, he's really good. He's really good.
Something like that. Yeah. So Mike George is over there, kind of facilitating a lot of stuff, and he has his fingerprint real heavy on that particular program. So they'll be really really good. And then Duncanville girls, they're the defending state champion. So we'll roll the balls out. And I'm looking forward to see how they compete and how they play against two high level opponents.
yeah. Well, right now, today, Monday, and we're going to shine some light on this because it's kind of a newer offering that you're offering with Hoopfest basketball. You've kind of grown. So you're in East Texas at the Piney Woods Hoopfest. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted to bring big city basketball to a small town. And I actually went to undergrad, like 15 minutes from here at Stephen F. Austin. So I wanted to do something here, as well as I also have one called the Red River, which is where I'm from in Texarkana. But this one is really, really dope because it pulls a lot of the smaller teams that may or may not have football, and it kind of brings that whole town, here. And Lufkin probably has one of the nicest facilities, not just in East Texas, but in the state. They got a really, really dope arena here. Which also has good Wi-Fi, which is what I'm on right now. Which, being in the media, you guys can really appreciate a place that has really good Wi-Fi. Because a lot of these new places that they're building, they spend $2 million building this beautiful facility, and then spend $500 on some cheap wires, for Wi-Fi. But they really didn't spare any costs at this place, and it's a really beautiful facility. I think the past 2 years before they went to this new model that they're currently going to, they hosted the region 1 or region 2 championship.
Is it region 2?
Ani, that's for you. I think but I've seen it. I believe it's Region 2.
I think it's region.
Yeah, I think so too.
Always at 4A, right?
No, 6A.
6A. That's right. That's
6A.
right. That's right.
6A. 6A. So it was where last year you had Duncanville girls play the Soto girls here, and Mansfield, which are one of the Mansfield schools that went to state. They had their state championship. Their regional championship here as well.
Yeah. What I've always been interested to know, what brought about the expansion of the Hoop Fest? Because you started out with the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest, and then here you are, and next month you have the game with South Carolina, the girls' college basketball game.
It was time, because I like to move the envelope and try to stay so far ahead, because I know people, I'm all about competition and free enterprise, but I want to stay so far ahead and so innovative, that it's hard for people to catch up. But I also want to motivate the next generation of people that especially look like us, that, we can do things at a high level. And so I wanted to expand. I expanded to East Texas, expanded to Salt Lake City, and then I did a partnership with the Bahamian government and the Ministry of Tourism. So I added one out there. And then I knew I wanted to get into the college sector because I'd helped so many other people get teams, So, last month, 2 weeks ago, we did UCLA versus New Mexico, and Santa Clara versus Arizona State and Vegas. And then in 2 weeks, we'll do TCU versus South Carolina women over at Dickies. So I'm excited about it, just kind of push myself, new challenges, try to find out what's the next thing, and now that we've built Hoopfest basketball as a brand, now we're starting to build GS Global Sports as a brand as we plan to expand not only into men's and women's college basketball, but we're going to expand into, I'll just say other sports as well in the near future.
I was gonna say, were you gonna give us a teaser there real quick? Were you about to debut something on the podcast?
Nah. It's gonna come when it's gonna come. It's gonna come when it's gonna come.
Right. When we're talking about Hoop Fest, and I know you it's probably hard to be biased. You've had so many great moments, so many great players. Do you have a favorite Thanksgiving Hoop Fest moment?
I got a couple. One of them would be um, last year's Etiwanda versus Duncanville game, girls game.
Okay.
That would be
Yeah.
one. Um, Flower Mound Marcus versus Houston Yates with Marcus Smart and Phil Forte, Nick Banyard, and all those guys. Um, who else? Uh, Probably the first one, because that really just kind of set the tone when I had Stevie Clark as a freshman. A lot of people don't remember him, but he was
Man,
like
tough.
Trey Young before Trey Young. You know, the
Yeah.
small guard that could really put it up. He was at Frederick Douglass High School in Oklahoma City. I think those would probably be the ones because I don't want to. You know what? Another one. Kimball versus Lincoln when they had LeBron Nash, Keaton Miles, Jerrion Henry, Jalen. What's my man named Jalen that went to Texas A&M and then played in the league for a little bit?
Jalen, Dwayne.
Oh, yes. Jones, isn't that his name Jones, right?
Jones.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, Jalen Jones.
That one was cracking. That one was cracking.
You
They
had
even
you
did
had
like
the
a little,
city on fire. I remember that. You had the city on fire. You kind of lit the match of the rivalry. So you had trash talk from both sides. Yeah, that was crazy. That was definitely a crazy one.
that one's up there. Um, the step back three that Jalen, I shouldn't, yeah, the step back three that Jalen Green hit on Sam Williamson.
Yeah, Rockwall. Yeah, I was talking about that guy.
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah, we talked about
yeah.
that earlier. Yeah.
Because it was Sam played great defense, but the amount of separation that Jalen Green got on his step back was like it was like some pro type stuff. It was like
It was he was special at the Hoop Fest. Like you brought him here and he was very special. Like
They went 2-0. They went 2-0. I think
they
they played
did, but it was like his talent level was it's like kind of it's almost like some of the stuff that he's doing right now with the Rockets. He was doing that in high school and he did that at the Hoop Fest.
So
It was crazy.
funny story. He had so much fun the first year that he came that when he transferred his senior year to Prolific, he told the coach, "We're going back. I don't know what you got on the schedule, but we're going back to this." And he came back and he kept his word and came back.
Yeah. I mean that was definitely he was a special talent here. I mean, we've seen a lot of special talents, but Jalen Green was really a special talent when he came. The swagger, the
And probably
demeanor. Yeah.
going to the American Airlines Center the first time was probably the pinnacle.
Yeah. When you
I think
packed
I think that made you a legend right there. I think what you did at that arena was legendary.
I think what it meant to me, well, I loved it because I went through my phone and I called everybody who played a part in. Like I called Lynn Bishop, the old coach, not his son, the old coach that coached at Lincoln.
Old coach of Lincoln.
I made sure he was there. I made sure Snoop was there. Like all the guys. The only one that was missing, and that was because they had like a football game or something, was Ray Forsett.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else, I tried to make sure that they was able to pull up on me.
Man, that was really crazy. I mean, and like I said earlier, we gave you your flowers. What you've done for the city, what you've done for the players in Dallas is unmatched. I mean, you've made careers, you've made pros, you've put guys in front of people that brought them to the NBA. McDonald's All American, Cop. You really did that, and we definitely give you your flowers on that because it was you've done an amazing job. And this year, I don't know, this year seems different because it just feels like it's going to be so many fireworks all over the place. And you've expanded. You have all of the gyms at Duncanville Rocket.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, you can go to any gym at any time and damn near see a pro or a potential pro,
A potential
or at least
player.
a high level Division I player at any given time, and that I say that, but it was probably also the hardest schedule that I've ever had to do because everybody wants to have all the good teams until it's time to do the schedule and then send it to the coaches. Because everybody, but that's the game, that's that's the game. I try to give people matchups that they want to see, and give teams, the kind of quality opponent that they want, and it's gonna be fun, man. It's some games, man. It's some games that you can get in there and get, and it'll be, I'm looking forward to it. Like I'm really looking forward. Like it's a couple, like we hadn't even talked about, it's like 4 or 5 top 25 kids, and we didn't even mention, Alex Costanza, the 6'8" kid from Westminster down in Florida, JJ Andrews from Little Rock Christian. We got some dudes up in here that's like, that can really, like have this thing like cracking for real.
You got some good games on court 2 and court 3. You got some good games there. Like when you talk about you go to East Court, like there's some games. I think I looked at like RWG and Legacy. That's a really good game. Like to have, like you got a lot of talent there. You got a lot of Division I guys. I mean, you have talent on East Court. And that's what's good about the Hoop Fest. Is just, man, like if maybe you don't really want to see court 1, you want to dive into court 2. You have a high level, like tough game, 1 to 2 possession game with 2 guys that are going to go high major. You rarely see that at these events.
Yeah, you don't just want to sit in the arena for sure. You don't just want to sit in the arena. And I will say, you're making it real hard on our writers. You're making it hard on the writers, Glenn. Hard on the writers.
That's the point, because you can go watch Goolsby versus Montani,
Yes.
That's one that like I'm getting a lot of calls about, how do you say his last name?
Montanati.
Montanati, yeah, Jalen Montanati, yeah.
Yeah, him and the Goolsby kid from Melissa, they play against each other on Friday. That's a real like high level like matchup. Well, it's supposed to be, So we'll see.
That'll be a good game.
We'll see if people built like they team hyped them up to be. I'll say it like that.
There we go. Or like their dad hyped them up to be.
We'll see.
Good, for sure. Well, man, we don't want to take too much more of your time. We know you're there live on site in high school, Piney Woods Hoop Fest. We appreciate you coming. We appreciate you spending some time.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much.
Shout out to the people. Let them know how they can follow you, how they can buy tickets. There's tickets still available. Give us a rundown of your events before you go.
You can pretty much find everything on hoopfestbasketball.com. You can see the schedules. You can get tickets for any of the events or any of the high school events. You can get them all there. It's like a one-stop shop, and on all social media platforms, it's at Hoopfest Basketball.
Cool. Well, Glenn, thank you. Glenn Smith, founder, CEO of the Thanksgiving Hoopfest, and we'll chop it up with you later this week.
Appreciate you, man.
Right. Man, that was good, and it's so crazy because I try to honor my time, everybody's time, your time, our viewers' time. Like put this within like an hour segment, but I feel like we need like 2 hours of this because he has so many good matchups, so many. All like he said, all the courts are full. You have all of these different teams, all of these different matchups. He's bringing teams from all over the country, players from all over the country. Give me a matchup on court 1 that intrigues you.
On court 1, that Keller versus Calvary Baptist. Keller's a really fun team to watch. They got the Steven Ramirez kid that committed, I think, forgot which Division I school. But then Calvary Baptist with TJ. It's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be fast paced. Like Coach Weir from Keller, like it's all.
Oh yeah, he wants to go. Yeah.
So I think that's a very like interesting, fun matchup on Saturday. Atascocita and Waxahachie. Waxahachie has some young guys. Like I got to watch Jonathan Bradley, 227 kid, who's. It's funny, like I coached TJ Birch. I felt like I was seeing like a younger, but more like clean, like better, like jump shooting TJ Birch out there. Just the way he finished around the rim, his confidence, like he can really play make. He's really talented. They got a 228 kid that is interesting, like big fella that can shoot it. Reminds me of like guys that we've seen in the past that's like, okay, maybe they're like, they got a lot of baby fat on them, but when they're juniors and seniors, we're like, oh shit, like, who is this kid? When did he turn the corner? His name is Lucky. He's talented. And then at Atascocita, I mean, they're a machine. And Jalen Fenner, I think he committed to La Tech. I enjoy watching him play. Really athletic, can handle it, can get downhill, finish above the rim. I think that's a very intriguing matchup. I wish people was like in Dallas, they need to go see Atascocita more. They're a fun team to watch. He really gets on his guys, and they have a 228 kid, Anthony Key, who's intriguing. I think he's someone that's going to be mentioned a lot in the state, throughout the years. Another one that's interesting to me. Let's look.
I'm looking at this and I'm going through the matchups too, but I just remember when the arena was where you wanted to be. Sandra Meadows Arena, that's where you wanted to play. But I'm looking at it and we have Faith Family in Court One playing Bartlett, Tennessee. You
Yeah.
have
Oh,
you have
Bartlett is fun. Oh, yo, my boy Skip hit me.
yeah.
That's so I think Faith Family, if I remember correctly, lost to Bartlett at Iverson Classic in Memphis last year.
So it's a
So
rematch game.
this is a rematch.
Yeah, some get back.
I think they were like down 2, and one player's got a technical, and they kind of got goofy after that. But that's a good game. Bartlett is tough, man. Them boys, they get after. That's going to be a fun game. I like that. That's a good choice.
We got South Central Prep coming down against Prestonwood on Court One. You got RJ, not RJ, Ryan, coming down against Prestonwood. That's his old stomping grounds, Plano, Texas. That's where he's from. Argyle versus Whitehaven, Tennessee on Court One. Argyle's doing their thing. Centennial, California versus Kimball on Friday night.
They track me. Parrish versus Link is interesting. We're going to see how good Parrish is.
Yeah.
We're going to see how. Yeah.
We will see how good they are and how good the Twins are. They will be front. You got it. You wanted it. You got it. Front and center. You going up against those dudes, man. You got it. Oak Park, Kansas versus North Crowley. Isaac has been on an absolute tear. It seems like somebody has pissed him off. Somebody's talking trash. Somebody's dad has been talking trash to him, which is so funny to me. It's kind of, and he's been going for 30, shooting one leg 3-pointers. Shots from the timeline, like he's just having a ball and he's making it happen. But North Crowley is playing really good basketball. They are playing very good basketball and they're beating teams that we probably didn't have them beating going into the season. But Isaac and the squad has them going, has them running, and that's going to be exciting. Denton Guy versus Springdale, Arkansas is going to be. Lancaster versus Moore, Oklahoma on Friday night. It's just games all over the place, man. The Thanksgiving Hoopfest, guys, is the best holiday tournament in the country.
Yeah.
In the country. Like there's, it's not one of the, it is the best. No question. So you need to get there. You need to get there early. I'm looking at the schedule and I was doing my notes and I'm, one of my things as a scout is to kind of prepare myself for an event. I'm going to be at this game at this time. I'm going to go see this one. I have so many games at the same time that I need to see. Like I have so many games that I need to see. It's ridiculous. But man, this is amazing. This is really amazing. Ani, talk to us a little bit before we go.
Okay.
About players staying focused during the Hoop Fest. A lot of cameras, a lot of media. You're going to see your favorite college coaches if they're not playing. You'll have Cal sitting on the baseline. You'll have, Duke sitting on the baseline. You'll have all of these teams, all of these coaches sitting on the baseline. Like he just mentioned, brands. A lot of people don't know what the brand guys look like. We do. We're around them. So we know what the brand guys look like. You have agents, and because of the NIL, you have so many agents and people. How can high school players make sure they're staying focused and they're making an impact?
It's just about routine. You got to have a routine at the end of the day. Obviously, there's a lot of attention there. You play to your strengths. It sounds easier than it actually done, but like, it's not a time to go out there and do what you can't do, right? Like, just go out there to play within your strength, play within the flow. If you are the guy, then you don't have to show your talent to just be you. You know what I mean? I always I tell guys this, like, you don't have to show people your talent. Like, you in the stage for a reason. So just be you. It's always kind of weird, like Thanksgiving, because most teams or half the teams probably play something the day prior to Thanksgiving break, Thanksgiving Day. Like we have
Yeah.
Piney Woods. Jim Hicks is going to have his event. He has the hoops
Shout
giving
out Jim
every.
Hicks.
Sloan has his event. I'm actually going to go there at 1:30
Yeah. Shout
to
out
his.
Sloan, Marcus Sloan.
So, but it's like you got Thanksgiving Day, right? And then you eating, you with family, you having a good time. You're off school, and then it's like Friday. The ball, the ball is rolling. We're getting after. I think it's just being in a routine, knowing you're going to have fun, being with family, and this, that, and the third. But don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just understand what the moment is. You got the game plan and just attack it. And your work's gonna show. You ain't putting no work, shit, you ain't gonna play good.
Mm,
And if you are, then just trust it. You ain't gonna
right.
play good if you think too much. I mean, that's the reality. You gotta have confidence, trust your work, and go out there and play, but don't do what you can't do. The problem is
Yeah.
we'll see guys that do what they are going to try to do things they can't. And that's what hurts mistakes because they feel like that's what's going to get more views or more Instagram followers or Twitter stuff or whatever. Man, just do what you do best.
Yeah, yeah. Those are excellent points. And I hope every parent, every player, every coach, everyone listening heard exactly what he said because, you know, honestly, I feel like make my job hard.
Yeah.
Make it hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I go to some events, I go to some games and it's like the player, I heard all this about a player. I see the hype. I see all of these, and I'm on this little thing right now, but I see all these ridiculous mixtape titles: the best here, the best there, the best shooter, the best that. And then I go and he's not doing anything. He's not doing a damn thing.
Right.
And it's like, okay, like, and you know, and a lot of times you get one impression. I think it's very important to understand that you, when it comes to this basketball stuff, the first impression means a whole lot.
Right.
And it's not about scoring all the points. It's not, but it's about being a basketball player and affecting winning and making winning plays that we like to see. But no, those are great points, man.
And
So
you really hit the nail on the head. Like you hit the nail on it. Like impact winning. If shots not going in, play some defense, rebound,
yeah,
win the 50-50 balls. Like I like to see in games, Charles. I know you're the same. I don't get so enamored by guys that score. Yes, I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to talk about it. But I like to see when the kid really isn't shooting well, how is he still doing things to
exactly.
help the team win? If they had a bad game on Friday, how did they respond on Saturday? That
Yeah.
will tell me more on what's translatable and how they kind of transition to the college game more than like, yeah, like you have a good game is great, but I just want to see how you impact winning.
No,
And even if it
seriously.
doesn't equate to a win, you did everything you could to help your team win.
To
And
help
that's
it. I like seeing a bad game. I
me
do,
too.
because I like to see your demeanor. I like to see how you're. What kind of teammate are you? Are you coachable? What happens when your shots aren't falling? Because the reality is, and you know this like I do, a lot of freshmen they go to college and they play at all of those levels: D2, D3, low one, mid one, high one, and they don't get a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So if you're pouting in high school, if you're having a problem in high school, you're gonna hate college. You're
Right.
gonna hate it. You're gonna be calling your guy or calling your parents or calling one of us trying to get up out of there. And I think resiliency says a lot about a player. And
Right.
in environments like this, like again, and I'll use it as an example. CJ Roberts had 32. Trey Young had 44. And Trey made it, it was like a spectacle kind of what he was doing. But CJ Roberts never wavered. He never, he did his thing. And that said a lot about his character. That said a lot about him as a player. And I think that's what a lot of people, coaches, parents, I mean, coaches and scouts. It's not. We don't want to always see 50 points, 40 points, 30 points. If you can score, we've seen it, been there, done that, and we've seen kids score 30, 20 in high school and go to college and only play one season and never play again, never do it again. So, like you said, the intangibles, everything that you bring to the basketball court is what we are looking for. But man, I'm excited. This is going to be dope. Appreciate Glenn Smith for coming in with us for a little bit. We couldn't get to everything, Sorry if we missed you. If you were looking for yourself there, you were looking for us to follow your team. Make us see you on Saturday. Make us
Yeah.
see you on Friday. We want to hear about it. Let me walk through the parking lot again. You know, hey, you got to go see this. This kid did this. This kid did that. Like, make us watch you. Make us watch you. You know, I don't want to be a lazy scout. I don't. Make my feet hurt. I want to work. I want to be tired. And at the end of the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest annually is one of the most tiring events.
Was.
It is one of the most tiring events if you're a writer, if you're a scout, if you're somebody involved in the high school basketball level helping kids get to college. But man, that was a great show. Have fun in Houston. Be safe. Enjoy Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for,
Absolutely.
especially being able to watch basketball the way that we do, and the opportunity to impact the game the way that we do, man. So I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you.
Likewise.
I hope Brandon's dermatologist got him right, so he can he can look good next week on on camera.
Brandon,
But
stop dunking the smoke, man. Come
hey,
on.
man, I think that's what it was though. You bullied him a little bit, and then he had to take a week off and get a whole bunch of stuff written so he can come back at you. But
That's all right. I'm ready,
um,
Brandon.
I'm gonna get with you while we're there and do some live stuff from the Hoop Fest. You never know. So,
I'll be done.
man, have a great week. Everybody have a great week, and all our listeners, have a safe Thanksgiving. Be safe. Remember why we are here. Be thankful. Find something to be thankful about. If you're not in a good space, if you're having trouble, talk to somebody about it. Get some help, but find a reason to be thankful. If you're breathing, that is a reason. Promise you. Promise you. So, on the court, off the court, live. Ani Umana. I'm Charles Campbell. We'll see you next Monday at 10.
Peace out.